Die, cis, scum.
Hello everybody, Fizzle here with another wonderful video for you. This one's on a bit of a touchy subject, but I think it's an important one nonetheless. Even more important than my anti-feminist videos or one more political video I've got planned, but this is one that I've had in mind recently to clear the air, and one that has only come into play for me more recently. You see, I was in a League of Legends IRC chat with my buddy Jay one time.
Well, it's like what everybody went, dude.
Just being myself. Well, Jay was being his own original character, which happened to be a female one, go figure, when I made a remark about us being transgender since he's actually a male pretending to be a female, a catfish rather, and I look a bit girly down below. Ooh. It didn't take but a millisecond for me to get bombarded with millions of messages, all from the same person. These messages were about my apparent transphobia, and the individual politely told me to die cis scum.
Die, cis, scum.
In which I made the mistake of explaining the misconception to them that I was making a clearly tongue-in-cheek remark directly to my old buddy, old pal Jason, but what I learned is that crazy SJW cunts don't listen to logic, so I just blocked them, and that was that. Fast forward about a year, and there's this artist I really like, not in the sense I wanted to pound pussy, but just in the sense of I like the art they do. They happened to be in a Skype call with some of my friends one day, so I decided to make conversation with them, and all seemed to be going well, and they even taught me a few things about how to, like, draw digitally and stuff like that, few tricks. So I sent them a friend request afterwards, no response, ended up being in a few chat groups that they were in as well. Not so much as an acknowledgement of my existence. So I figure, okay, this person probably doesn't like me for some reason. So, you know, I guess it's okay that they're avoiding me. We probably wouldn't get along very well anyways, and I guess I was probably right in that case, but not for the reasons I had guessed, because eventually I noticed something on their profile that I hadn't noticed before. They're transgender. Well, fuck me in the ass and call me Susan. I definitely must have referred to them using the wrong pronouns in our Skype call. And if this were the case, and I offended them, then they absolutely did not mention it to me at any point, and sloughed it off and pretended nothing had happened during the call. So I'm transphobic because I'm not psychic. I should have been able to tell which pronouns someone would like to be referred to as over a Skype call. Yes, that's why I had that little edit back there. Those are what are known as gender-neutral pronouns. Oh, so this individual probably did make a wise choice to cut off communication from me. Now, this brings me into the real bulk of the subject matter right here, and it probably isn't going to change anything. It's probably just going to be the final nail in the coffin to those of you who consider me transphobic already. So if you feel the need to close the video at this point, do so. I believe there are typically two biological sexes, male and female, sometimes, with rare exceptions, hermaphroditic traits can appear and stuff like that, and, you know, XX, Y, XXX, and, you know, extra, you know, different chromosomes or whatever, can have different effects as well. But typically, it's male or female in terms of the sex, and that's not really something you could argue. On a biological point, we are born XY or XX, and that determines our physical sex. Now, I believe a lot in how we act is governed by our bodily hormone balance. Men typically have much more testosterone than females, and females have more estrogen pre-menopause. After menopause, they drop down to the same amount, but I believe an imbalance of these two hormones could lead to people being transgendered. However, I believe gender neutrality is a social construct. The arguments I've seen on YouTube and in that stupid gender studies course falsely labeled as an English course seem to have gender as a binary, where men and women are exaggerated stereotypes. You know, the BS that the typical feminist spouts about all men being violent, drug addicted. You know, the BS that the typical feminist spouts about all men being violent, drug-addicted rapists, and women being the caring and nurturing second-class citizens that make the world go round. Well, it isn't that way. Men and women are individuals, and biologically, I already said that part. You can really do whatever you want, really. These gender neutral people I hear ironically seem to think that they can break away from being labeled by creating more labels. If you're why did I spell it like that? I meant to put so opposed, but I put in supposed in the script. Bleh. If you are so opposed to gender, then why do you find yourself so attached to it? Why do you feel the need to create thousands of different types of genders so you get one specific one that suits you? Don't you see the convolution of it all? If you live in a country where this can be a big problem for you, I'd say you live in a pretty free country, considering you don't have to worry about starvation, disease, or having your basic human rights violated on an hourly basis. You know, at work, one of my coworkers called me Joan because she couldn't properly pronounce John. And I was mistaken for a girl because of that several times, but I thought it was funny. And sure, I shouldn't expect everyone to be as easygoing or as awesome as I am, and I don't. I'm just letting those who aren't know where the door is. It's right over there, and you can leave whenever you'd like. I honestly have no problem with what people identify as long as they can grow some balls and handle their emotions like a man when they get mislabeled by a fellow human being. Oh crap, I just broke character, didn't I? Anyways, I'm gonna try to get back to making videos shortly. It's just been a really shitty month for me, and I'd like to thank you guys for sticking around. I plan on doing more videos for all my channels shortly. Oh, and I'd like to also thank all you girls and gender fluid individuals and you people and aerogender, abemagender, absorbagender, aesthetagender, adaptogender, adamasgender, adamasgender, agender, ambigender, aerogender, I said that one already, Libra fluid, amergender, amicagender, amerigender, aliasgender, alexagender, flirtgender, genderqueer, androgyne, anisagender, angelagender, anongender, anogender, angenital, anisagender, antigender, antigender, angzagender, apologender, apogender, apogender, angzigender, aporogender, aptogender, aquaragender. Oh, I think that one's what I am. Oh, aerogender, archaeogender, aptigender, aporogender, aerogender, argogender, antigender, autogender, atmosgender, astralgender, astergender, arithmogender, batgender, bigender, bigender fluid, blizzgender, biogender, bogender, Borden gender, burst gender, boy flux, cadence gender, void fluid, joy, zerl, xenogender, zum gender, zodiac gender, witch gender, void gender, vocagender, trigender, tray gender, swamp gender, subgender, subfluid, system fluid, etc. Thanks for watching the video. Boy!
They is one of them.
Yeah, but
to speak to an individual
yes,
as they.
Right, but we can't dispense with the distinction between singular and plural. I mean, I know that the advocates of that particular approach say that they has been used forever as a singular, and that's actually not correct.